we want to thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
And we do have a topic that we're going to get to in a moment, but we already have a caller on the line, so we're going to go ahead and take her. I believe Joanne, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Yes, my sister is wanting to get married to this gentleman. They've been together for quite a while. He has a bad medical debt and some credit card debt, and he's not in real good health, but they do love each other and wants to get married, but she's afraid she will, if something happens to him, she'll be responsible for his old debt. Is that true or not?
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. That's certainly a concern that you would have in any time you're going to enter into a relationship. If it is debt that she is not co-signed on for a credit card, then she is not necessarily going to be the person that's going to be liable for that debt. However, if you commingle assets and you have things that you hold together, those are things that people can try to garnish. If there's a bank account and he owes a debt on it, they can try to get that money. So it's better. Better thing would be keep the finances separate, keep it clear, make sure that she's got assets that are in her name that aren't in his name, and that they aren't used for the benefit of the marriage. Now you can still have some assets that are used by both of them, but the cleanest thing to do would be make sure she stays has her independent finances. The other thing that's going to be concerning is that if he should pass away from some of these health problems or whatever, anything that he has that goes into his estate would be subject to claims of his creditors. So you want to look at that. So I would encourage you to maybe talk with a lawyer about just what the financial obligations are going to be before they sign on the dotted line and get married.
Well, we also just learned we have Dennis on the line as well. Dennis, are you there? Dennis, are you there? We obviously have lost Dennis, but so how would you, regarding our last caller, how would you go about when you enter into a marriage like that, making sure, is there anything legally you can do to keep your finances and your assets separate?
Well, I mean, you can have a prenuptial agreement that would determine, what the assets would be or what they would be divided if the divorce, if the marriage doesn't work out. But you can also just speak with somebody who's either a lawyer or financial counselor to say, okay, look, you have separate assets that you can both. That you both have. As long as those are not combined and used for the benefit of the marriage, then they're not going to be subject to any claims of creditors for the other person. Make sure you don't sign off on any debt, joint debt or anything like that, and you'll probably be okay.
Good.
I think we have a couple of minutes left.
Sure.
I just wanted to talk to you really briefly about the topic that you came in and talked about today, and that was just the car wreck claims and social media.
Yeah. This is one of those things that we see all the time, and people, when life events happen to people, they want to share it on social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But in our situation, when we're dealing with working to try to get compensation for people that are injured, this is a bane of our existence, really, because this is all information that can go out to the public and be publicly disseminated that we don't have control over and we don't know about, and it can materially affect the value of your claim. I can't tell you how many times we've seen people that were involved in motor vehicle wrecks, and then they'll go out and they'll post pictures. Well, that information is available to the insurance company or the defense counsel on the other side, and they don't know exactly when what the circumstances were. Or you're out walking on a nice day like this, and you post it on Facebook. Well, then the insurance company is going to say, well, you weren't injured, you weren't hurt in this wreck. Look what you were doing. So those are all the types of things that can be a problem. The other thing is, don't engage in any conversations, particularly with the potential at-fault party or any other parties. Anything that you engage in conversation or in social media is subject to being to come out in the case when it's tried in court, or if it gets that far. So you got to be real careful about it. Make your profile private, and basically don't mention any kind of injuries or any kind of incident like this in social media.
Ooh, good points evidence right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
When
Gotta be-
social media's done, it's made us too willing to share.
to share
It's out
everything,
there and people
overshare.
will get it.
Yes, they will. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on. We always appreciate you on Mondays when you come
Sure,
on here.
sure.
And if you didn't get your question answered, remember you can always call our friends over at Timberlake League and Brooks. The number is there on your screen.